y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Meteorology Unleashed here, and today I am going to be breaking down some current weather outlooks, so let's get to it. Okay, so right now you can see we have our enhanced risk over here near the Springfield area, so we're watching this threat for today extremely closely because it's where we're going to see our most damaging tornadoes here, and along the lines of very strong winds and a hail threat up here. So we are watching that threat very, very closely there. So this enhanced risk does go for Peoria, Macomb, Springfield, Illinois, and even parts of Missouri, of areas in here. So we got Bowling Green, Missouri, Kirksville, and even maybe a little chunk of Marshallville. So we are watching that very closely as well. Again, we do want to keep our eye on that for today, and we're just watching that threat as well. Now, if we go down here to Abilene, we can see that does have a enhanced risk down there as well. So a strong chance for some severe weather down there near the San Angelo, Texas, and even some little parts of Oklahoma City. We could see some very strong thunderstorms there as well today. Now, if we go into the tornado risk, we do see a 5% hatched risk for McKinney, Dallas, Abilene, San Angelo, Texas, so we are watching that, and then even a 2% hatched risk for tornadoes, so we're watching that as well. So that's going to be EF1 to EF5 rating, as we don't want to let our guard down there, because like on the Michigan tornado, you can see it was in the 2% area, and it just had an EF3, and I think it killed about 3 people there. So yeah, very, very strong storm there as well. Now that 10% hatched risk is going to go up here. So this is going to be the intensity group 2 risk. This is going to go for Bloomington, Peoria, Galesburg, Macomb, and parts of Indiana such as Fort Wayne, Valparaiso, and South Bend. So we're watching that threat incredibly closely today, and I don't know if I'll go live, but if I do, stay tuned in the community tab to see what goes on there, and if I do go live. Now we are watching that threat over here for the very strong winds, but our main threat is going to be down here in Abilene, Brownwood, and San Angelo with that 30% hatch risk. So that's going to be some very strong winds that's going to go there towards Dallas. So you could see a lot of trees down there from those very strong winds. And then we do have a very big hail threat as well. That's going to go for Wichita Falls, Vernon, Atlas, Lawton, Abilene, San Angelo, Brownwood, and in the 15% we got Dallas, McKinney, and just some big areas like that. So we are watching that threat incredibly closely for today, and that's going to go for Bloomington, Illinois, Springfield, Macomb, Galesburg, Davenport, Urbana, and then Lafayette in Illinois, Fort Wayne, and South Bend. So we're watching that threat very closely as well. Now, if we move on to our categorical day 2 outlook, we will see we got that slight risk that's going to move towards the Nashville, Murfreesboro area, such as West Virginia. We've got Kentucky, Illinois, not Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, some parts of West Virginia, and then we have areas in Virginia. We've got Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, and Alabama all in this threat as well. So we will be keeping a very close eye on that. Now if we go to our wind threat here, this is going to be for a 15% risk, not a hatched risk, but we could see some very strong winds up to 100-mile-per-hour wind gust. So we're watching that threat very closely as well. Now if we go into our day 2 tornado outlook, we do have a 5% chance, 5% hatched risk down there for Monroe, Shreveport. We have Taylor, Texas, and we have our areas such as Charleston, Pikeville, Kentucky. That's going to be Charleston, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we have Columbus, Ohio in there, and just some very strong tornado risk for tomorrow as well. So we will be keeping a very close eye on that, and then same with our hail risk, we're going to have that 5% risk. So now let's move on to part 2 of this video, which is going to be looking at the models. So let's take a look at the HRRR. Now the HRRR is a model that we can see. It's not as long range as the GFS, but we can just see what kind of storms are going to pop up and what we've got there. Okay, so now let's look at the HRRR model here. So this is going to show us what is to come later this evening through, I think, tomorrow at 2 a.m. So we are watching that very closely here. So if we let this kind of play through the models, you can see down here towards McKinney, Texas, around 12 noon, you can see these very strong supercells over here, and then we've got those very strong supercells down there near the Dallas area. And then if we continue to let it play out, you can see this come into Waco as this strong thunderstorm here gets very, very strong. You can see the next range, we could probably see some very strong hail there later day around. So we'll see this very strong storm move into Waco around 2 o'clock today, and then continue through the night. So that is going to be for some very strong thunderstorms up there. And then if we move on to our one up here near Chicago, you can see near Princeton, we're getting those supercells ramping up over there. And then later this evening around 1600, you can see that very strong thunderstorm there as well. It's going to be ramping up, and then we have some of these very strong supercells that are heading into the Kentucky area, and then parts of Clarksville. So we are watching that threat very, very closely, and then that threat is just going to keep going through the night into tomorrow. But you can see here near Abilene, we can see that very strong line of thunderstorms. And then over here near Peoria, you can see that very strong hail risk there as well. So very long straight line of severe weather for later this evening into tomorrow. And I will try and be live for all this, but I can't guarantee that I will. But definitely you can come back to this video if you have to. But I definitely know Ryan Hall, y'all, should be live. Okay, so now we are going to look at the GFS model here. So this is going to be our longer range model that we are going to be looking at today. So that is going to be a longer range. It's going to go out, I think, about 72 hours. That goes out into the future, so we are watching that for today. Okay, so now let's look at the GFS model. So let's see what it has to show us for these severe thunderstorms coming up later today through tomorrow. So you can see it's not doing a really good job of projecting those strong thunderstorms. You can just see that it's kind of like a little bit delayed than the HRRR, but still you can see that very strong risk there as well for later today into the Chicago area. And then by the time this all moves out on Wednesday, we will see some snow up there near Rockford, Chicago, Illinois. And then we'll see very strong thunderstorms near the Memphis area, Shreveport, Texarkana, Tyler, Texas. And then we have that very strong straight line of damaging winds that's going to come through the Nashville, Columbia area, down to Memphis, Shreveport, and then Monroe, Louisiana. We'll see that. And then it all scatters away by the 11th at midnight. And then by the Thursday, the March 12th, you can see that we've got very strong thunderstorm near the Knoxville, Birmingham. And then by then it will all be moved out by 10 a.m. Of the Tennessee area, just in time for that new snow pattern that we've got up there in Columbus, Ohio, that we are watching very closely as well. And that's going to go into Toronto, Buffalo, Syracuse, into New York, Philadelphia, and then Pittsburgh. So we are watching that very, very closely. But yeah, we'll continue to see these storms kind of ramp up into the 15th. You can see a very strong thunderstorm over here on the 15th around 10 a.m. And then that's going to go bring some nice snow, heavy snow near the Springfield, Illinois, Pierre, Chicago, Rockfield, and then into Illinois later that evening. So we are watching that, and then even parts of Nashville, Tennessee on the 16th, we'll be seeing some very light snow. I don't know how much it's going to stick because of how warm it's been, but we could just see some flurries, and then it's going to get really cold too there as well. So we are watching that strong threat as that snow moves into as well into the Tennessee area, Springfield, and then we're just continuing to watch that very, very closely. So that's about it for the GFS model and our radar forecast. I hope you enjoyed today's video. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it so more people get notified about what's to come later today and into tomorrow. So thank you so much. Let's crush our goal of 300 subscribers, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.